My Bells Palsy story, one of the hardest stories that I've ever had to tell. Here that is. December 22nd, 2012 is when I got Bells Palsy, and it happened kind of suddenly, and I was previously sick. So I had had pneumonia, and I just gotten over it, and this was the first time I was leaving the house in like 2 or 3 weeks, and I was completely off the medication that the doctor gave me, but I had to use an inhaler, so this was my first time like out and about. We went to Walmart, and I don't know what we wanted there, but I picked up one of those like liter Mountain Dew sodas from a bottom dusty shelf. Not that that's important, and not that that gives you Bell's palsy, but like for a long time I was so mad at myself for buying that bottle of Mountain Dew, because the next day my face completely froze and it looked like I had a stroke. This is what it looked like. My Bells Palsy Story Part 2. So the next morning I woke up completely fine and not like basically feeling anything. I felt a little like, not weird, but numb right here on my cheek, and so I was kind of a little like, that's kind of weird, maybe I brushed too hard, but didn't think of anything of it. Then I went downstairs, and my mom said good morning, and I tried to smile at her, and my face was basically stuck. And she noticed right away. So my parents started freaking out and wanting me to go to a doctor. My aunt is a nurse, so my mom called my aunt and asked her what it could be, and my aunt said it's probably Bell's palsy, but you should go to the doctor. I'm just going to make a little side note here. I don't like the doctor, and I have anxiety about the doctor. So I didn't want to go, and basically didn't for a couple days until finally my mom convinced me to go, and they confirmed it was Bell's palsy. They gave me medication to be on and facial exercises. My Bells Palsy Story Part 3. So I basically just wouldn't smile, tried not to laugh. I was really depressed. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't want to hang out with friends. I didn't want to go hang out with my family. I was really sad because I felt really ugly and horrible and terrible. It was hard to brush my teeth. It was hard to drink water. It was hard to eat food. It just sucked. So after my first doctor appointment, my second doctor appointment was 2 weeks later. At that appointment, she said the words you don't want your doctor to say to you, "It's weird that it's not getting better." Just a side note, I did not like that doctor. She was not nice to me. Then she said that she wanted to send me in to get an MRI to see if I had had a stroke or had some kind of brain tumor. Again, not what you want your doctor to say to you, especially when you're young and impressionable and have anxiety. But yes, she should have said something along those lines, but maybe a little kinder than the way she actually said. My Bells Palsy Story Part 4. Yes, this is taking a long time, but it's a long story and it has a lot of details. So, just for the record, I want to make it known that the way my doctor said it to me was not nice. I had told her that I had anxiety and then I was really anxious about medical stuff, and she told me to grow up and get over it. Just so you know the kind of doctor I was working with. So they scheduled the appointment, not telling me that they would have to give me an injection in my arm to be able to activate some kind of something and make the whole brain visible to see and make sure everything was okay. But again, my doctor did not include that, and yes, she knew about it. And that I told her I didn't like needles and was scared of needles and had anxiety. So I show up to the appointment and had a nervous breakdown anxiety attack in the middle of the department. The guy freaked out and said, "Is there any way we can do it where we don't have to inject her?" Like for part 5, because this is going to be my Bells Palsy Story Part 5, I believe. Again, sorry, this is taking a really long time. So the attendant literally looked like he had never seen someone freaked out so much about getting injected with a needle. And I was having a panic attack. I was crying, I was sobbing. It was like the end of the world. I was on the floor having the worst anxiety attack ever. My mom said, "Do you want to do it today or do you want to come back?" And she said, "You kind of have to do it." So I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And so I went into the MRI machine, and it was loud, and it was terrible, and it was anxiety driven, and it also gave me a little bit of claustrophobia. They pulled me out of the machine, injected me really fast. I felt something wet down my arm. It was blood. Gross, I know. I started crying. I had to be in there another 20 minutes. Then I got to go home, and I think I had Taco Bell for lunch that day. That was one of the good parts of it. Like for part 6. My Bells Palsy Story Part 6. Yes, this is a long story time. So after that, we didn't hear anything for a really long time, and the doctor was supposed to get back to us by the next day. She waited 3 days to get back to us. We went in and she said, well, the good news is there's not a tumor, and it's not cancerous as far as I can see. She also determined that I didn't have a stroke and that it was just Bell's palsy caused by some kind of nerve problem. She basically said you could take more medication, but just keep doing the facial exercises, and this is how it's going to be. Then she basically told me, hey, next time maybe go to the doctor earlier. Which, for the record, I was already thinking of, already feeling bad about, and already having anxiety about. And it didn't get better for a really long time, probably until like 2013. Right after it got better, I started my YouTube channel and tried to share my side of the story. But my Bell's palsy affected my teeth and nerves really bad. My Bell's palsy story, final part, I promise. So basically not being able to brush my teeth properly, basically not being able to eat really well, and also the breaking down of all the nerves and all of that stuff here, and the general infection affected my teeth really bad. And I already had genetically weak enamel, is what the dentist said. So now my Bell's palsy affects the rest of my life because it affects my teeth. Yes, for the record, I am also very terrified of the dentist and have anxiety about that too. And here are some fun pictures of that time in my life. I can't believe I'm showing this. I look so happy. April 2015, I got my smile back.